Sri Guru Charanam Bhakta Vrinda Samamritam Sri Chaitanya Prabhu Bande Nityananda Samudita Sri Nandanandanam Bande Radhika Charanam Govinda Samayuktam Vrindavan Manohara Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Gaur Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So first of all, I offer pranams to our Gurudev, Vishnupada Srila Swami, Sri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj, our Shiksha Gurus, Sri Bhaktivedanta Madhusudana Gosai Maharaj, Srila Parish, Swami, Sri Govinda Gosai Maharaj. So today, of course, was the appearance of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So today was also the disappearance day of Nitya Parish Sri Govinda Maharaj. So on the same day, so he foretold his disappearance also. He used to often quote Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He used to say, this world is like an outhouse, like a bathroom. Especially Indian bathroom. How long you stay there?
Where?
In the toilet.
Depends on the pub, depends.
When you finish your purpose, you do your job and you get out of there as quickly as possible. So he used to often say that this world is no fit place for a gentleman. Just as the appearance of a Vaishnava is very wonderful, so disappearance is also special. We never celebrate the disappearance of Bhagavan. Right? Krishna's birthday, Gaurangas, Nityanandas, Advaitas, Ramchandra, Nrsimha, but we never celebrate the disappearance day of Bhagavan. But Vaishnava's disappearance we celebrate. I've heard it said that Bhagavan, from the beginning of his Leela, he manifests his glories. Like from the womb of Devaki, when he appeared, Krishna appeared with Sankachakra Gadapadma, so tall, all ornaments. So from the beginning, his glories were manifest. Gaurasunda, also, before his appearance, everyone was chanting the holy names. So Bhagavan's glories manifested from the beginning of their appearance, but Vaishnavas, maybe not. After their Leela, then we can understand. So this Tirubhav is one special type of also meeting. Unless we've met someone, we cannot feel separation. So for separation to be real, there must be meeting, and separation increases the happiness of meeting again. So in separation we also feel one type of meeting. You know, when we remember their activities, their teachings, their bhajan, their affection, then we also meet them. So meeting and separation. So, we try every year a little speak about him. So he was born in a very small village in Orissa. Orissa is a very wonderful place. There is the place of Jagannath. So this is Vaishnava Ketra. Like in Vrindavan, everyone knows Krishna. In Mayapur, everyone knows Gaur Hari. In Ketra Mandal, Jagannath Puri, everyone knows Jagannath. So he grew up in a Vaishnava house, especially the deity of the village was Gopal. So that was his Ishtadev. So even when he grew up, then he would not eat anything which had not been offered to Gopal. So from beginning, before school, after school, he would go make garlands. He learned to read by reading the Bhagavatam. Especially his kirtanas, his family come in the group, the line of Narottam Thakur. So even there's some registry, anytime they come to Jagannath temple, they can sing. So he grew up with all the bhajans of Narottam Thakur, and Thakur deity, Gopal. So he was from quite poor family, therefore he married. He said, the first time I met my wife was in marriage. So he said, I was with my wife 6 times, I had 6 children. He would say like that. So there's no difference between Grihastha and Brahmachari. If Grihastha follows properly, then that is Brahmachari. In Gita, Krishna says, I am sex life which is not devoid of religious principles. So that is not some bad thing or fall down. So he had to study part-time. He studied Sanskrit and something else. So he was very intelligent, even though he had a full-time job as a teacher. He came second in the state of Orissa in his Bachelor of Arts. And he became a school teacher. Actually, very strongly you see that in his character. So he was always absorbed in speaking Krishna Katha. So even as a school teacher, complaints would come. He's not teaching the curriculum, he's just teaching Ramayana and Mahabharata and all these things. So afterwards, when he took sannyas, then many of his students from school, they came and took Diksha and joined the temple. So much influential he was in their early lives. So he would, even as a grihastha, he would serve sadhus. So I heard he would wake all children up, they had to do like Panikram of Tulsi, chant Harinam a little bit, how much I don't know, but even as grihastha he would follow all these things. But he was very attached to speaking Katha. He too much loved Krishna Katha. He used to say, Krishna Katha is life. If I cannot speak, no need to live. He would often say that. That day is a bad day when we cannot speak Harikatha. So he was so much absorbed in speaking, some complaints would come about his teaching techniques. So he kept one diary, but he was, even though he was engaged in family life, he would always lament. These days, people are very anxious to enter Grihastha life. We should not think it's some very easy thing. So he would say, to satisfy Krishna is not very hard, but to satisfy children, wife, that is very hard thing. So he struggled a lot, 6 children, and also he looked after the children of his brother. Something happened to him, so he paid for the education of his brother's children also. So he would keep a diary. He was always thinking, when can I get out of this? Every day he would keep some diary. And he would, at the end of every day, he would write, when will Gopal take me out of this? Like Grihastha ashram. So at the age of, before 50, I think he was 46 when he left.
No, above 50.
No, hang on.
29 was born, 96.
Anyway, but he used to say to disciples, none of my disciples should stay in married life more than after the age of 50. After 50, everyone, all men have to take like vanaprastha, like that. So when he tried to leave home, then all villages became disturbed. You have 6 children. I think the oldest child was only 18. Yes, so he couldn't have been that old. If the oldest child was 18 when he took sannyas, he was less than 50 when he took vanaprastha. So the villages became disturbed, so they tied him to a tree in the village. Obviously, he must have gone mad. How could you leave wife and 6 children at young age? And these days, it's very hard. We try to keep people from marriage, but still they want to enter the fire. So Gaur Maharaj was like, they tied him to a tree and he was shouting, you can bind my body, but you cannot bind my soul. He said like that. And then his wife came. No, I had some dream. He was in saffron cloth. Krishna has already given him sannyas. Like this, wife supported. Then they released him and he left home. So one time he told us when he left home, then there's one river you have to cross. It's called the Mahanadi. It means great river. Some other name is there, but locals call it Mahanadi. It's quite a big river. So he came towards dusk, and how he crossed the river, because how he's like somewhere to sleep, something to eat. Then he saw one man walking by foot across the river. He thought it must be very shallow there. So he went there and crossed the river. So when he came to the village on the other side, they asked, Baba, how you came across? It's late, there is no boat. Oh, I walked across. And they said, you must be joking, the river there is 40 or 50 feet deep. So he said, Gopal showed him. Then his feet were very sore because not used to wearing no shoes. Then one man was massaging his feet with mustard oil like this. So he said, from the day I took sannyas, Gopal always looked after me. He supplied everything. This is one of the six limbs of surrender. This is the anga, the main limb of surrender. Krishna will maintain. What I need, Krishna will give. One time I had some money, so I wrote a letter to him. Should I keep that little bit of money for emergency or donate it? And he said, surrender fully. That handwritten note I have somewhere. Krishna will give you the bare essentials. Krishna will give bare essentials. So that night, one old lady came. And she did pranam to him. Then he asked, oh mother, who are you? Why are you doing pranam? And the old lady said, I am Maya Devi. Why are you doing pranam, mother? Oh, you have done what no one else has done. You have left me. You have left me. One time he told that on Parikrama. So he said he spent 2 years looking for a sadhu. So he went everywhere in India. So he said also, especially Haridwar, that is holy place. Then I remember sometimes he would talk like that about his life. And he said, all the sadhus were in line. You see them when you do parikrama? All the sadhus in the line for like some chapatis or something. So the sadhus would talk, oh, 11 o'clock is like sweet rice here, but at 1 o'clock is another feast at this place, like this. And he said many sadhus had 2 tiffins. Then he said, why are we taking sannyas? Just to fill the stomach. Then they would become angry, and his tiffin they would throw in the back. So, like Maharaj, they say, also took, especially Madhvacharya, took sannyas from Mayavad, because main thing is not just the dress of sannyas, main thing is the mood. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Ekadan sannyas, but his mood was always, like the Bhagavatam says, the prayers of the Bhakti Brahman, the Paramatma Nishta. My goal is seva to Krishna, Nishta in Krishna. So he approached this divine life society and asked them for sannyas. But he asked them some questions. Harinam is the only sadhana in Kali Yuga like this. So he not agreed with their methods, so they refused him sannyas like that. So he said went everywhere. He said he went to many disciples he saw Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He said, but no one could really satisfy him. Actually, Bhakti Daita Maharaj, very beautiful thing he wrote. If I had a guru who only served 99.99% of the time, I could not accept him. He said, if the guru served 23 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds, but that last second his mind goes somewhere else, I could not accept someone like that. So I guess Gaur Maharaj was looking that type. So he thought, I'll come to Vrindavan. And he came to Mathura, because that time, and still now, that is closest to the train station. And everyone came to Vrindavan by train that time. So he came to Mathura, Gaudiya Math, at that time Gurudev was not there. So he went and he was visiting all temples in Vrindavan, what they're doing, what they're speaking. Then he saw one American with Back to Godhead magazine. He got one magazine. And he said, I'm looking for 3 things. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhagavatam, and Harinam Sankirtan. These 3 things. Then he saw this bread Back to Godhead. And already he knew nice English because school teacher. But he thought, who has done this? Especially he saw this Prithviyachi Nagi Gani Nagaradi Gram Sarvatro Hilo Prachar Morna. Mahaprabhu predicted, my name will be in every town and village. So he thought, who has done this? Who has fulfilled the desire of Lord Chaitanya? Then he saw a billboard, Hare Krishna and ISKCON. And he had a desire, I want to meet Bhaktivedanta Swami. I want to meet him. So when he went there, then he had just taken prasad, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. So they were not letting him meet him. No, come back later. No, please, I just have 2-3 questions. Then inside, then Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj was hearing. Who is that? Some sadhu was there. So Govinda had dreadlocks with tilak. He always used to wear tilak. Some sadhu was there. So often he would talk about his first meeting with Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Then he met and Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj first thing asked, have you taken sannyas? No. I will give you sannyas. Then Govinda said, we often talk like that. We cannot hear the voice of the super soul. Chaitya Guru is there, but we are not qualified to connect with him. So Jiva Shakshat Nahi Tate Guru Chaitanya. You cannot connect directly with the super soul. So super soul comes outside in the form of sadhu. But we keep hidden. And they know. So Govinda would say, because he spoke what was in my heart, I knew this was a Guru. Then Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj asking him, what did you do? I was school teacher. Oh, you know English and Hindi? Yes. Maybe they were speaking, I don't know what language they spoke in, maybe English or something. You know Hindi? Yes. Translate this. So he went and translated one article into Hindi, which is not his mother tongue, but so when Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj saw the translation, very nice. Well, Didi always says our publications should be up to standard. One time Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj said, our books are so full of mistakes, no educated person will ever take us seriously. So devotional literature should be one standard of language and everything. So Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, give him an office, give him a desk, give him a room. But they didn't do it because new person. Many people come to the temple to steal things. Sometimes, not just Indians, also foreigners, they come and try to steal. So they did not give him a room, but he would come every day, wash pots and like that. Then he took Harinam, then Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj gave him the name Gaur Govinda. His name before was Braj Bandhu. Huh?
Gaur Gopala.
Wasn't Braj Bandhu?
No, Braj Bandhu was given by birth, but as he was traveling.
Anyway, okay, but everyone Braj Bandhu. Then then Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj gave him the name Gaur Govinda Swami, Gaur Govinda Das. Then someone had donated land in Orissa. Orissa is a very important place, especially Bhubaneswar. We're talking with one guy today. Lord Shiva is the guardian of the Dham, Ketrapal. Here he's Gopeshwar. In Puri he's there, Brida Shiv. He guards the Dham. So Ketramandal is shaped like a conch shell, but the mouth, the entrance place, that is Bhubaneswar. Chaitanya Bhagavat described there's 10 million Shiva lingams there. 10 million Shiva lingams in Bhubaneswar. So it's more dear to Lord Shiva than even Varanasi. Bhubaneswar had big history. There's many ancient places there. Bindu Sarovar, that made from sweat coming from Lord Shiva. I think Lord Vishnu's body. Many ancient places. There is a deity of Ananta Vasudev. They used to take the prasad from Ananta Vasudev and offer that to Lord Shiva. But now in Kali Yuga everything little changed like that. So Bhubaneswar is a wonderful deity. Normally deities, temples of Vishnu have Sudarshan Chakra on the roof. And temples of Shiva have Trisul. But Bhubaneswar has Sudarshan Chakra and Trisul. Because these deities are Sadashiva, not just any ordinary Shiva. Anyway. So also Puri have many glories. It said the demigods, they say even a donkey enters the Dham, he gets a four-handed form. What to speak of human beings. So even the demigods worship the residents of that Ketramandal. So someone had donated land there. So Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj said, you go there and build a temple. He said, build a temple for me as big as Jagannath Puri. And Govinda would often say like that. So, but where to live? He had nowhere to live, so I think for 6 months he lived in the warehouse of one chaiwal, one man who would sell tea, nowhere else to live. These days we're giving a whole list of demands. Before I do seva, it must be this. But Govinda made no demands like that. So 6 months he lived there with one tea warehouse. And then they was started this National Highway 5, which goes, I don't know where it goes, but anyway, it goes through Bhubaneswar. Puri to somewhere else, maybe to Bombay, anyway. So National Highway 5. They began that construction. So he moved onto the land, and first thing he did was build himself one mud hut with 2 rooms with his own hand. So before he lived there, he had to live with the construction workers who were building the highway. And he was alone, very hard. So he began that, and he began preaching. Some Americans came. Our dear friend, Big Bhagavad Maharaj. God bless him. So like that. But the Americans could not stay. Too much austere. So then when Bhagavad was complaining, I cannot stay here, this and that. Then Govinda said to him, you can go, but I have to stay here, my Guru ordered me. Then Bhagavad Maharaj said to him, no, I am senior to you, and Brahmachari cannot stay alone. So he said, he forced me to leave. So that time Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj was at Kumbh Mela at Prayag. So he went there, and Bhaktivedanta Swami, what are you doing here? I told you to go there and do seva. Then he told the situation. Bhagavad said he was senior, I had to follow him. Then Govinda immediately said, Prabhupada, you must give me sannyas. Then Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj said, you know what is sannyas? Never think of woman even for a second. And you'll go to hell to preach. That is qualification. Then Govinda heard that Bhaktivedanta Swami said, you understand? Yes, I understand. But everyone was confused. Did he say yes or no? It wasn't clear. Okay, take prasad. So in 1975, that was the opening of the Krishna Balaram temple here in Vrindavan. So that time Tripurari Maharaj, he took sannyas that day. But there was a second set of cloth. No one knew whose that was. So Govinda had just done the yajna for all the initiates, people who had taken initiation. Then Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj said, will the candidates for sannyas come forward? Then Govinda, he finished the yajna, then he stood up and came forward. Then everyone was shocked. Then after giving sannyas, then Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, I don't think he asked, Govinda just stood up and took the mic and glorified his Guru for half an hour. Then Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj was weeping when he was hearing that glorification. He was crying. And he said, everyone should be able to speak about Guru like that, glorify their Guru. Hare Krishna. So then he went back to Bhubaneswar and began his preaching. So he would print little flyers and he would go door to door, village to village. So he had to walk. So every day he was walking like 20 miles. That's why in later life his legs all became, some disturbance with them because so much walking that time. Afterwards some student came and would ride him on the bike. Then he began preaching in the villages around that area. And many, many faithful persons would come. So I heard he was giving lectures in one village and there was one yogi who was smoking ganja. In the middle of the lecture he was puffing away. And Govinda too much shouted at him in front of everyone. How can you be smoking in Hanikatan? Like so ashamed, made him so much ashamed like that. So he was very direct like that, very direct. Therefore many people did not like that. Sometimes the doctor gives little anesthesia. But sometimes just like in the medieval times, just direct operation. If you survive the operation, you could get so much benefit from his hard works. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, the desires of the disciples are like goats, and the sadhu is like a butcher with a chopping knife to cut the head off the goat. And what is that chopping? That is in the form of unpleasant language, he removes our desires. Tato du sangha uttuja sravantikattu. Bhagavatam says, by taking association of the high class other than do sangha, all this bad attachment we have in our minds for foolish things, that will be removed by the words of the sadhu. Of course, we stay with the sadhu like this and refuse to hear even one of their instructions, and then this is not called sadhu sangha. So he began preaching, and many people, local persons, became so much attracted. So in 1986 they went to the GBC and complained he should also be given chance to be giving initiation. So in 1986 he began giving Diksha. Of course, famously, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj visited Bhubaneswar. Gaur Maharaj would always talk about his Guru's visit there. Normally he would only, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj would only stay 2 or 3 days in one place, like that. But in Bhubaneswar he stayed like 14 days, 11, 12, 14 days. And that time was just a mud guest house, the mud room of the hut. So Gaur Maharaj organized state guest house. State guest house. When dignitaries visit the different cities, then the government has a state guest house. Police people and ministers, they can stay there. But Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj said, I will not stay in the guest house, I'll stay on Krishna's land. So many people were saying, really, he is sadhu. He can stay in the luxury of the guest house, but he preferred to stay in the mud hut, like that. And he gave lecture there, and then Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj said, everyone who comes must get prasad. Then Gaur Maharaj he would tell us and laugh so much. Prasad, I cannot even feed myself. How will I feed hundreds of people coming every day? At that time, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj so famous. He said, but miracle. Some people brought rice, firewood, and we gave prasad. That time Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj was translating. He began 10th canto translation there in Bhubaneswar. And one day he called, normally everyone was recording everything he said. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj sent everyone away. And many instructions he gave to Govinda Maharaj at that time. Build a temple as big as Jagannath Puri. You should install Gaur Nitai, Krishna Balaram, Jagannath Baladev, Subhadra. Especially Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj was very unhappy. His Western disciples could not visit the temple of Jagannath. So Gaur Maharaj would laugh. He was angry with Jagannath, Bhaktivedanta Swami. He would not go to the temple. He was in Mahan. I will not see Jagannath. If Jagannath won't see us, we won't see him. So he would laugh. So Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj said, because my disciples are not able to go to the temple of Jagannath, I have brought Jagannath here and installed. And deities of Krishna Balaram. Who knows why? Maybe that's his own Ishtadev. Who can say? And Gaur Nitai. So in brass. So, and Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj said, I leave all my mercy here. He would tock his cane on the ground, tock. All my mercy I leave here. Because there, Baladev is there 3 times. Nitai, Balaram, 3 Balarams. So all my mercy I leave here. But many instructions he gave him. And Gaur Maharaj was saying, I was praying to Guru, when I can see your Surup, your real form, please show me. And then we were all asking, what did he say? Did you see? He showed me. What did you see? He said, that is my treasure. He always kept quiet about the Surup of his Guru. He said he had seen, but what he saw, he never said anything. People speculate many things, but he never said. He was very careful. He would say, this is my treasure. I don't distribute that. So, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj made many predictions. This place will become the center of the whole city. This will be the best center in ISKCON. Devotees will come from the whole world to hear Bhagavatam there. Many predictions he made, and those predictions all came true. Then in 1986, Gaur Maharaj began his preaching mission. First place he went to was France. Gurudev would often say, all the French are crazy. Gurudev would often say. So then he began his preaching. Many funny stories I heard. That time the local ISKCON guru was, what was his name? Bhagawan. So they had bought one palace. I have not been there. Oh no, one time I went. They bought one like big chateau, but a huge one. So this bathroom and everything they had done up, the bed was like, as big as my room. So Govinda, when he went in there, he was so simple. He went to the bathroom, and the bathroom was like golden toilets and golden taps, and he thought this is the temple room, and he did pranam. Very simple he was, like that. And then they had this huge bed, and he just did pranam to the bed and slept on the floor. He said, this is no bed for sannyasi. And his preaching was so extraordinary. One time he said, when he saw Krishna the first time, he said, when he saw Krishna, Krishna was very happy with him. He said, what do you want? Then Gaur said to Krishna, I just want to preach. And Krishna said, okay. So I guess that was his seva, that he felt most happiness in that. So when he would preach, he would come alive. Really alive. Like that. And he would quote that today we sang that song of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The Brijvasi's life is Krishna. So who has Krishna has life, and that person will do prachara. He would quote that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur song. So he too much loved to preach. He said preaching is life. When I speak Bhagavad, I get life. So his class was not just like 30 minutes or someone ringing the bell after 7 minutes. His Bhagavatam class was always at least 3 hours, 4 hours, because no one to check. So first when he would go any new place, he would always glorify the Srimad Bhagavatam. These verses that are there in the first canto, Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Videsto Hiyabadami Vidonodi Suditsita Ananto Pasanam Shaksha Bhakti Yoga Docs, all these verses which glorify the result of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. If one hears Bhagavatam, then all the corrupt things in the heart are destroyed. And a hoitiki bhakti becomes established in the heart as an irrevocable fact. All these verses there. And this would go for an hour and a half. And of course, people would not use, ISKCON class means 45 minutes. So after an hour and a half, everyone's like, what's going on? And then after an hour and a half, he would finish and everyone would be like, thank God. And then he would begin, then he would begin the class. So you could imagine, people not used to hearing. But he would criticize that. He said, what use of the temple? The temple is the place for Harikatha. So he would criticize those people who don't like to hear. And directly, he would always find someone and hammer them. So many people took objection, especially in the class. He liked to sing bhajans of Narottam Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So people were not used to this. In the middle of class, some bhajans, and so much he would be shouting, roaring, like this. So people not used to his style. So many people would criticize him. Oh, this is different, they would say, different. Because one with a Vaishnava doesn't mean you have the same hairstyle, or walk the same. Oneness of a Vaishnava is their Anyabhilasita Sunyam, their mood to Krishna, that is equal to everyone. But still, because of everyone has their own individuality, every Vaishnava is different. Even Vaikuntha, all birds are not the same. Even in Vaikuntha, birds fly at different levels. Some Vaishnavas too much like Shravanam, some like Kirtan, others cooking. All Vaishnavas have their own little ruchi, their taste. So we have to give freedom to all the Vaishnavas for that. So complaints were coming in, especially he was speaking very strongly. The 3 levels of Vaishnava, the Kanishta, the Madhya, and Uttamadhikari. If Guru is an Uttamadhikari, but disciple is Kanishta Adhikari, They say my Guru is Uttamanikari, but actually they have no factual realization what it means. No, because you are Kanishta. Only Madhyamadikari has factual realization of what it means to be Uttamanikari. So Saraswati Thakur would say, if Guru is Uttam Bhagavat, but disciple is Kanishta, they can only see their Guru as a Madhyamadikari, because they have no understanding what it means to be Uttamanikari. So very nicely he would describe the difference between the three levels of Vaishnava. So many people would take objection, because they're making a show of being on the highest level, but not. Just be yourself, right? What you are, just be that. No need to be anything else. So he would tell a story. There was one jackal. He had many stories. There was one jackal, so he he entered the house of one washerman who had what they call like blue dye. So the jackal somehow fell in the bucket of blue dye, he became blue. Then everyone was astonished, especially the village animals, they'd never seen a blue jackal. So all the other animals began doing pranam to him. It's like an incarnation, like that. So they gave him a singhasana and he was sitting there, the blue jackal. Everyone was treating him like king. But one day the full moon came and all the normal jackals began, like in Mayapur you hear them every night. So the blue jackal, he could not control himself, he also began. Then they realized, he's not a special jackal, he's just like us, but blue color. So they killed him. So like this he would tell, especially that time, so many false, like sannyasis, too much misbehaving, doing so much nonsense. So he was speaking like that, especially in France that time, there was a big revolution against this Bhagavan. That time he met Sudadwaiti Maharaj, like that. So his katha had the power to split people. Either you surrendered and you felt so much pleasure hearing katha, or you went against him. So when I first met Gurudev, he also said to me, first thing, he said, don't be neutral. Neutrality has no place in devotion. Then he said, can you give your head for the sadhu? Can you give your head for the sadhu? So neutrality is very bad. So never be neutral. You have to be one side. So in this way, wherever he preached, many followers would come. When he came to Australia first time, then he started in Melbourne. Then everyone was too much astonished hearing his katha. Then when he went to the next city, Sydney, then the temple emptied and everyone followed him up the coast. And then when he went to the next temple, that temple also emptied. So by the time he got to the north, there was like 50, 70 people following him. So all the temples were complaining, he made our temple empty like this. So when he came to Sydney, I was not there. But the GBC was there. His name was, I won't mention his name, but he was there. Then he would never come for class. But one day he came last. Then Gaur Maharaj was talking about the Ajamil Katha. We were in 5th canto. Then he was saying at the time of death, Ajamil chanted Narayan, Narayan, and 3 Yamadutas came from him. Then he was asking this sannyasi, why 3? I cannot imitate his voice. Why 3? What? You know? I don't know. What? How can you be sannyasi if you don't know this? How could you be disciple of Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj if you don't know this katha? Of course no one did, right? Because we do sin by body, mind and words. The 3 Yamadut came. Then 4 Vishnu Dut. Why 4? He couldn't answer. Go much too much. Hammer him. What? How could you be sannyasi if you don't know this? Because Narayan, 4 syllables of the holy name. Like this. So, of course he was banned from France, banned from Australia 2, 3 times, banned from America, banned from Russia, banned from Europe. The only place they didn't ban him was Africa, because no one wants to go there. Poor place, no one bans him. So he preached, and he made real revolution. He would say, Bhagavatam is here to create revolution. That verse, even a sadhu may speak with improper language or some fault in the grammar, but still it's accepted by honest persons. So these Bhagavatamas come to make a revolution. That is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So who hears from sadhu, some change must be there. So yes, he caused great change in the lives of really hundreds of persons. So, but many opposition he generated. So much opposition. Especially many people, the Guru may say something as a preaching tactic. Of course, when Krishna Balaram brought up that point a few years ago, people went crazy. But sometimes the audience cannot understand the subject matter. It has to be presented in a way they can understand. Therefore, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj said, where the jiva comes from, he comes from Vaikuntha. Because of envy of Krishna, you come here. And by doing bhakti, you go back. This is preaching tactic. When Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj came back to India, after his first visit to the US, his godbrother asked, why are you preaching that jiva comes from Vaikuntha? It is not true. The jiva comes from the Tatastha Shakti. In Vaikuntha there is no Tatastha Shakti. There is only Antaranga Shakti. So why are you preaching that the jiva falls from Vaikuntha? Then Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj said, I know it's not true, but you cannot understand the mentality of the people in the Western countries. He said, Mayavad is so completely predominant. Like, even Christianity, there's a God, but no one ever saw him. They had no idea of the form of God, no idea of God being the supreme person. So he said, unless they hear the jiva comes from Vaikuntha, they cannot develop a conception, how am I Krishna's eternal servant? So as a preaching tactic, sometimes Vaishnavas do. But the problem is, Gaur Maharaj said, there are two considerations, tattva vichar, and what was the other one? Aparavichar. What the tattva is one thing, but what may be spoken according to time, place, and circumstances, this is called aparavichar, like temporary, or what's the word called? Huh?
Time, place, and circumstance.
Time, place, and circumstance. It's not tattva, but you just, for understanding of the people, it's called aparavichar. Not like Krishna speaks about parashakti and aparashakti. Parashakti means the jiva, aparashakti means maya. So apara means a little, not fully true, it's not tattva. So sadhus sometimes speak with aparavichar, not tattva vichar. So many times the sadhu speaks from an unqualified person, not understand why he speaks. Then they make that into a tattva, but it's not actually like that. No. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he met Ramananda Roy, I am Mayavad sannyasi, I have no devotion. Is that true? Should we think of Mahaprabhu like that? So sometimes people misunderstanding, they try to make the aparavichar into a tattva, then confusion comes. No. Like Jiva Goswami wrote something, apparently against Swakiya, against Parakya and supporting Swakiya. Why? Because he had some disciples who had that nature, so something for them also, not for himself. So even today the Babaji say, Jiva Goswami against Rupa Goswami, they say like this. Many things they say, misunderstanding Jiva Goswami's writings and try to make it tattva. So Gaur Maharaj, many things to adjust. So what even Jiva Goswami spoke was misunderstood. What to speak, what Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj spoke, or what our Gurudev spoke. So many times he had to understand that Jiva never come from Vaikuntha, come from Tatastha Shakti, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur has described in Jagannatha. So many people were thinking he is against the teachings of Bhaktivedanta Swami. He's against the line. Too many things is different. Too many things is unique. Too many things Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj never did that he is doing. So some misunderstanding is there. So he had to fight against that. Especially would say the big fault of my God brothers, they cannot understand the importance of Shiksha Guru. Many people just think Diksha Guru is everything. So we cannot neglect the position of Diksha Guru, but Shiksha Guru have their place also. So he would say like that, my God brothers cannot understand. And Gaur Maharaj also had Shiksha Guru. He took Shiksha from disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. There was one Radha Charan Das and another one. The other one, he was devotee of Lord Ram, disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I forget his name, I have not met him, but if I write to someone. But he was disciple of Saraswati Thakur, but devotee of Ram, with Mahabhagavat. He would often come to Bhubaneswar. And there was another disciple, Gaur Maharaj said he was praying to, how can I understand the writings of Rupa Goswami? Not so easy to understand like we think. Narottam Thakur prays. When I will understand the writings of Rupa and Sanat and Rupa and Raghunath. So he was praying like that. Then one Vaishnava came that was a disciple of Saraswati Thakur, Radha Charan. And he was speaking all this Raskatha. Maharaj could understand, yes, this is Shiksha Guru. So he took so much shelter of him. Many times he would come to Bhubaneswar. But he was also a bit of an avadut. He kept cats and stuff in his ashram. So disciples wanted to visit him. He said no. Babaji Maharaj, normally Mahabhagavat comes to Madhyamadikari to give some instruction. But Babaji Maharaj, he never comes down from Madhyamadikari. He is always there. So if you go there and you misunderstand him, even in your mind, if you think bad about him, you will fall down. So anyway. So he's preaching also around the West, everywhere. Many times he went to Australia. Everywhere, many places. Many places bad, but those persons who opposed him fell down. Harikesh, amongst them, others. I won't mention names. Too late, I guess. So he too much liked to preach, especially he had special affection for Nityananda. I don't want to speculate, but especially Sakiras too much like Nityananda, Balaram. Like Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj always keeps special place for Balaram. That's why all his lectures he always glorified Nityananda. That's why in ISKCON so much people have faith and belief in Nityananda. So maybe I cannot speculate too much, but something must be there. When he would glorify Nityananda for hours. His Nityananda Triadasi class was like 5 hours, 6 hours. And he would just shout, Nitai, and just weep. Nityananda, and just cry. 5-6 hours like that. So many bhajans. These bhajans, that time we didn't know those bhajans, but Nitai Gunamani Ama, Nitai Gunamani, Akroda Nityananda, Paramananda, all these bhajans. So he too much liked Gaur Nitai. So when I tell this story every year, but it's a very nice story. That time ISKCON was doing, before Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj's 100th birth anniversary, 1996. Remember Kunja? You're old enough. 1996, 100th anniversary of Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. ISKCON was doing a padayatra all around India.
86.
96. You and I, you remember the Busan? Yeah.
I came in.
So padayatra was going all around India. They would walk like village to village. Then they came to Bhubaneswar, and one of the bulls pulling the cart died. So these bulls are the Gujarat bulls with a huge horn. There's one that lives in Loy Bazaar up here. You see huge horns. So they had to get a replacement bull from Gujarat. So Lokanath Swami gave the deities to Gaur Govinda Maharaj. Maharaj, take care of the deities. I'm going to bring a new bull and bring him back. And Gaur Govinda used to say, before he left home, he made sure he learned to cook 3 things. Rice, dal, sabji like this. Especially in Orissa, they have dalma. Instead of doing dal and sabji separate, they put all the sabji in the dal and cook it together. Dalma. So he learned to cook that, chapati, dalma and rice like this. So he would only eat once a day. He would only sleep like 2 hours a night or so. Day and night he would just translate. He would only sleep 1 or 2 hours a night and eat once a day. So he was cooking, he learned to cook and he would offer that to the deities. Then after some time Lokanath Swami came back. Then he said, now we will take the deities. So you have to give Gaur Nitai back to the parikrama. So Gaur Maharaj went to Gaur Nitai. Now Gaur Nitai, you have to go back on the road for parikrama. Then Gaur Nitai spoke to him, no, we won't go. We like it here. We will stay here with you. We won't go on any more parikrama. Then Gaur Maharaj went back to Lokanath. Sorry, Thakurji doesn't want to go. And of course, Lokanath thinking maybe he's joking, maybe he's... No, what do you mean they not go? They have to go. So Gaur Maharaj went back. I'm sorry, Lokanath Swami says you have to go on parikrama. No, we won't go. We won't go. We like it here. We want to eat your rice and dharma. We don't go on parikrama anymore. So Gaur Maharaj went back. They're not going, they will stay here. So he kept them in the room that his guru used to stay in. He kept Gaur Nitai there. At night time, he had one cook. And they would cook and they would offer the prasad. Late, and he used to eat late, like midnight, 1 o'clock, when he finished his translation. So one night, something happened and the food was not offered to Thakurji. The bhoga was not offered, some misunderstanding. So when the food came to Gaur Maharaj, they said not prasad. He could see just by looking. They said not being offered. Then he understood Gaur Nitai went to bed without prasad and he began to weep. Gaur Nitai went to bed without eating. And then he was weeping. So much that thought gave him pain. If they're not eating, how can I eat? So he refused prasad. So he had that vision in him. So he too much have affection for those deities. So I just say when he came to Australia, that was good luck for me. So that was 1993. I had heard about him. I joined ISKCON, but I was not too much impressed. Not too much happy. I liked the philosophy of Bhagavatam, everything was nice, but there was such a gap between what the Bhagavatam was saying and what was practiced in the temple. Such a big difference. So I was like, and the sadhus were coming, but I was like, not too much. Then someone gave me a cassette of Govinda Maharaj, so I was listening then. But he had too much enemies in Australia. So he was coming to Melbourne. So I lucky because I kept some money from my job, so I went there. And because he had been banned before, his disciples were also banned. So there was no one there, it was just me. So I remember his Mahaprasad would come, no one would take it, but I'm like a mountain like this. So that time I got a chance to first hear from him there in Melbourne. But so wonderful. That time we can a little bit understand, Krishna comes in the form of Guru. Therefore, Shakshad Haritvedas Samasta Sastra. Even though Guru has his side as Vaishnava, first he has his side as being Krishna's Vaibhav. Krishna says, Acharya Mam Vajanyam, I am the Guru, I am the Acharya. We cannot see all. That is our fault, our problem. Because you cannot understand how Krishna is working there in the function of the Guru, then how you'll surrender, how you'll have faith. What he was speaking for me was very strong feeling from the beginning. Wow, Krishna is speaking in this form. Krishna has taken this form and is speaking instructions to give mercy. Again and again, Chaitanya Charitamrita gives these same instructions. Krishna Jadi Kripa Kori Kona Bhagavan Guru Antaramiru Shiksha Prima. To give mercy to the souls, Krishna himself comes in the form of the sadhu. So I could understand, I could understand in the beginning. So it was so nice to hear his guitar, so wonderful. Then he went to another farm close by, I forget the name. So I also went that time. He gave one darshan there about the mercy of Nitai. The other day we had Nityananda Travis, but it was so powerful. Without the mercy of Nitai, no one can get free from material existence. Without the mercy of Nitai, no one can get the shelter of Mahaprabhu. Like this speaking. So I remember I was hearing all this, and then class finished. I'm thinking, where's Nitai? He's there in the temple. His guitar would make you mad. His guitar would make you mad. When he would speak, you would feel Krishna's going to walk in the door. Krishna will come now. He had that power of guitar. So I remember, midnight I went and opened the curtains of the duty. Nitai accept me, Nitai accept me. His guitar was very extraordinary like that. And he would say, Hari Katha should make you like that. Like you put a fire on someone's head, what they will do? Oh, I'll put it out next week. If someone make a fire on your head, where is water? You run like a mad person. So if someone is hearing the guitar, he said, a fire will come on your head. How can I get started some? Like that. So next morning I arranged a darshan with him. I had not talked face to face. I asked him 1 or 2 questions. So I went in there and I asked. And immediately I said, can I have initiation? And he was laughing so much. What's your name? Where are you from? But he was really laughing when I said that immediately. He was laughing. Then he said, I accept you as a disciple. This is eternal relationship based on love and trust. Then he said a very strange thing I not understood till later, but don't be in a rush for initiation. Bhaktivedanta Swami Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, but 12 years later he took initiation, so don't be in a rush. I remember I was thinking, okay, don't be in a rush. When I'm ready, that will happen. Then he went to Adelaide, so I followed him there. So it was really wonderful. Adelaide, he was fully different. Because in other places, so much opposition was there. But Adelaide was only his disciples. So it's very funny. Very affectionate, so much affection. People just talk about his heavy side, but he had so much affection. So much affection for the people. So then he went back to Bhubaneswar, and I was lucky that even though he told me to stay here in Adelaide, when he left I was thinking, why I stayed here? Here is no sadhusang, here is no Bhagavad Katha. And he said, Nityam Bhagavad Seva, every day we have to hear Katha, every day. So in my own mental speculation I was thinking, well, here is no Katha, sadhu is not here, but I should go also to Bhubaneswar. So I went there. I had working, so I had some money and stuff. So I was lucky that he said I could stay there. So many complaints were coming. Governor Maharaj has run away from his seva like this, but he let me stay there, very kind. Sometimes disciples passing, like pigeon pass stool on the head. You say, my disciples always passing stool on the head, so I was one of them. Just giving trouble, not doing any seva. So I was lucky I could stay there almost 2 years. Almost 2 years I stayed there. And I was also lucky because my seva was the tape department.
The what?
The tape department. That time was no MP3 and all this. So they would record and then I was doing editing, right? So I was like that 6 hours a day just listening to all these lectures. That was my good fortune. So hundreds and hundreds of lectures I got to hear there. Then his mood, he was always a little bit disappointed. You know, just Krishna Balaram, why we're a little separate. If behavior is not proper, then why we should be part of it? If there's asat sangha, bad behavior, then if we go there, then some fault will come to us, defect. So it said, better to enter fire or drink poison than associate with those who do not follow proper Vaishnava etiquette. That will destroy everything. Like Didi, how much senior, but they're not giving proper respect. No, then everything finished, everything destroyed. So there's no proper Vaishnava behavior, no proper Vaishnava etiquette. How we will understand Gurudev's teachings and everything. That's why we're also a little separate. But Gaur Maharaj could not be separate, he was in that society. So he was quite unhappy, I may say. Of course, Vaishnava is never unhappy, but still, he was not too much pleased with the situation. He speaks clearly that many people want to ban him and reject him and kick him out. So often he would say, I cannot talk. The axe is above my head. They're waiting to chop off my head. He would always discuss like that. Then he came back from India in 1996, like January this time, a bit earlier, of course. And he called everyone. That time he said, where's Chaitanya Charitamrita? So I had one upstairs. So I ran and I gave my Chaitanya. He was reading from my Chaitanya Charitamrita. I still have it there. And he was talking again and again about the fall of the jiva. Again and again he was. Then he's saying, how can we tolerate? They are speaking against Siddhanta. This is intolerable. But my Guru said to tolerate. So like this he was very disappointed. Then he quoted Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, this place is no fit place for a Vaishnava. I do not want to stay in such a world, in such a society full of envy and all this. So he was speaking like that, he wants to leave. But none of us could imagine that he would leave. No one could imagine. Because he was so healthy. Who could give 5-hour lectures so strong? But he was talking like this. I want to leave, but I'm not dependent. What Gopal says, I will do that. So no one could imagine that he would leave. No one could imagine. Then he went to the annual GBC meetings. I asked him, can I go? And he said, no, don't go. Nasty places. Nasty place. Don't go. So I stayed. Then he went and we heard this morning Sadhu Maharaj was talking. Someone asked him some question, why Maharaj stayed so many years in Puri that Gaur Maharaj became so happy because so many days of just meetings and discussions, no Harikatha. So speaking, he became ecstatic. And in that ecstatic state he left this body, left this world. So when he left, actually this time, dusk.
You were there?
No, I was lucky. I was in Govinda. If I'd gone to Mayapur, I could not have been in the Samadhi ceremony. And he said, don't go. So that I would feel glad I could stay there. Then they brought him. And actually the disciples like Ashram Maharaj, they asked Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, where should we do the Samadhi? And Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj said, do it in Mayapur, but they disobeyed him and did it in Bhubaneswar. Why ask if you're not going to follow? We know better. Disaster. So on this day, so he came from. But that time, even he was left body, but no one believed. No one believed he left. We thought he's in Samadhi. No one believed he left body. Anyway, glorious departure, leaving Qatar, speaking Qatar, leaving in Mayapur on this very holy day of the appearance of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So he got the gold medal. So we will try to remember him. That is our benefit. That is our benefit. Nityalila Parishi Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare